Good morning. Now it's 6:23 already, and let's just start. Welcome to Upward Masters, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe to Saturday Hualien Dharma Talk. A very good morning. Let us start the session for today. This morning, I would like to share a short extract from Master Ching's speech on the volunteer morning assembly on 2nd August. Master says the urgent need again to repeat and awaken all that time is running out. The world is filled with rampant disasters. How to save the suffering beings and our earth from floods and fires which are mysterious? Can man really conquer the world? No, it is very difficult. All due to the energy of collective bad karma of people. It's so healing and prevalent that it impacts the weather and environment. How can we mitigate the disaster? Only with sincere and pious heart, bestow blessings to humanity by upholding vegetarianism and respect every day, can we clear the calamity. When we give rise to good thoughts, it is akin to giving off the true fragrance of goodness, comes within the kindness of our heart. Yeah, thank you to Master's teachings. Now let us turn our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May the Sangha land be free from disaster and peace prevail in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere pious wish.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. From my heart, I pray. May we join our hands, our hearts as one. Spread the seeds of great love, nurture wisdom evermore. Let us fill the world with hope. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas know my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified, may there be peace in their community, may there be no disasters in this world. Together, let us together pray for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a happy body, an enlightened mind, and a total fulfillment in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let our unified love make the wonderful world very happy. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our masters to lead us in pilgrimage to the Sutra journey. Let us pay our respect for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Ching by making true sincere vows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Abode Masters who could join us today. Today is the beginning of another month, which we have this monthly session with our brother David Liu, Q&A session, which will start at 6:30 and followed by Brother Joe Huang. Let us now invite Sister Su Ching on the weekly summary. Sister Su Ching, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Okay. Okay, good morning. So last week we had Sister Sharon and Brother Robert, and then followed by Brother Joe Huang. Brother Robert and Sister Sharon shared a story of volunteering in Eswatini for those who were helped and in return learned to help others through Tzu. From the series of videos and sharing of stories, it is evident to see how we really are so truly lucky. Eswatini is a small country in the northeast corner of South Africa, a small country of not many resources and just general poverty all around here. But there is one thing that the locals are not short of, and that is an abundance in energy. From the running of projects to home visits to soup kitchens for communities. The purpose of the visit was all about sharing. And in the cross-cultural sharing, there are so much learning of the patriarchal society across most African nations, the hardships and punishing cycle of poverty through many generations. This was learned and observed through the home visits done, trekking through hills and muddy roads in the grueling sun. But the final message is really that of hope and belief. Local volunteers come in droves from all directions, no matter age, gender, or level of grief. In helping others, they too are healed. Their positivity is contagious, as they sang when plowing the fields. Sister Sharon and Brother Robert came with the intention to help, was what they said. But in helping of others, they left with so much Dharma joy instead. And Brother Joe Huang came on. The Buddha must have seen at some point in time that teaching the Dharma was going to be a tough hill to climb. Chapter 2 of the Lotus Sutra on skillful means is meant to address the way to teach the Bodhisattva path, its tools, techniques, and progress. Brother Joe reckons that it was highly likely that the Buddha and his disciples built the sutra over time skillfully. The parables that were woven probably from real-life situations, and verses are put in to strengthen the memorization. And that's it from me. I would just like to be able to tell you that this is the 100th time that I've done this. So it has been almost 2 years, and I must thank Sister Su Ching for asking me in the first place 2 years ago. I will now introduce Sister Stephanie to bring in the next speaker. Thanks so much, and for listening. Sister Stephanie, over to you.
And Sister Su Ching for the wonderful summary. Congratulations for handling us the 100th summary. And indeed, it's very useful. I think it's because last week I wasn't able to join, to be able to recap all these little nuggets from your summary, which I really truly appreciate. So today, very thankful to all the opportunity to be able to host, because our Sister Cupping, for your information, she has to go off early to the Jingsi Hall to supervise the mooncake making. So感恩 very much everybody for joining us today. I still do not see Brother David on the line. So perhaps Sister Su Ching can yeah.
Stephanie, Brother David, not sure what happened this morning. He tried through laptop and handphone. Still cannot connect. Okay, let me try to see. He's still trying. It's too early. Otherwise, I think to share with Brother Joe. Okay, let me try and get Brother Joe. See if you can. I don't know how. Okay, they share the access. Okay, maybe can open to the post sharing Xun Fa Xiang first or something.
Yeah, I think maybe open to post Xun Fa Xiang. Is Sister Effie around? Yeah, Sister Effie, can you kindly host us for the post Xun Fa Xiang discussion? Cảm ơn. Sister Effie. Sister Effie, are you convenient to host the post Xun Fa Xiang discussion? Cảm ơn.
Good morning, Sister Stephanie. You can proceed. It's okay. You can proceed with the
okay.
Xun Fa Xiang.
Okay. All right. So perhaps we can invite Sister YY is not here, is it? Okay, Sister YY. Sister YY, would you like to give your sharing first?
Oh, good morning, Sister Stephanie.
Yeah.
I'm not convenient now. Maybe shortly can. Maybe invite another sister first. Yeah.
All right, sure. Thank you so much. Then I would like to invite Sister Yvonne then. Sister Yvonne? Oh, Brother David is coming in ready. Okay. Brother David, good morning.
And I'm safe.
Yeah, it's okay. Brother David. Good morning, Brother David.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
好，看到你就很欢喜了。Very happy to see you.
阿林带 very hot Taiwan.
好的。Oh, yeah. Okay.
Very hot.
So we are very grateful that you're with us again to answer the questions.
Yeah.
今天 Sister Cupping is not in. She has to go to 净食堂 to make the mooncake to raise funds. So I'll be sitting in for her, yeah?
Where?
Mooncake making 做月饼。
在哪里 ？Where?
在净食堂。
哪里净食堂？
我们的净食堂啊。
Hong Kong 啊。
雪龙净食堂了。
OK. Good.
对 ，OK.
Charity.
I will share the question, or would you like to brief us something on what is happening in Hualien?
Hualien, everything okay here, but you know, these few days, the China undergoing the military exercise, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Today is the last day, but everybody here is okay because we already get used to this kind of situation long time already. So everything keep running as usual.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have been praying. We have been praying for things to settle. We have been praying for things to settle down. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we go to the questions, Brother David?
Okay. Let me
I will
see your
share the screen.
Your question
Yeah,
first.
我会 share screen 好吗？
Okay.
好的。Okay. So we have 3 questions today. And very
Okay.
thankful that we were able to translate them into Chinese for the
Yes.
benefit of
Okay.
brother.
Okay.
Yeah. 好。
Okay. We
So
try
the
to type.
first question,
Okay.
the first question
Some
is this.
Okay, you say you talk first.
Some people say they try to suppress their anger by thinking of gratitude and joy that Master always teach us, right? But it's very tough it's still very tough to suppress the anger. So the question is, how can we tame this anger that comes so quickly or so fast? Very straightforward question. Can?
Normally the volunteers get involved in Su Ching activities. They want to change the temper. They want to improve himself. But first thing, the obvious that we can improve is our temper. Because normally if the one person, it's easy to lose temper before cultivate himself. After joining Su Ching activities, they want to get good affinity with the other people. So they want to improve they want to improve his character or improve his temper. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It has to go step by step, gradually. Okay. This everybody is the same condition. Me also. Right? But from small things, you try to improve. Then gradually, you will improve a lot. Small temper, easy to improve. But big temper, not easy to improve. But in Su Ching, because we come to cultivate ourselves. We want to improve our mentality. So we know the way how to improve. Yeah. This is the purpose we come to Su Ching. We want to get the method. We want to get the wondrous Dharma to improve our temper, improve our character as well. Okay. So this question he asked, how can we tame this anger that comes so fast? Okay. Before we join Su Ching, we easy losing temper, very fast, very quickly. Everything we see not happy, okay, we are not satisfied, immediately we lose temper. But we try to learn in different situations, try to postpone the time to lose temper. Before it's lose temper easily, fastly, but now become slowly. Okay. Then until the last, because we don't lose temper for quite a long time. This is just like a car. Yeah, we don't start engine long time already. Eventually, this car cannot start engine. Same thing. So we don't lose temper easily. Keep quite a long time. It's not easy to lose temper. This everybody experience for all Su Ching volunteers. Okay. But actually, we must know the truth. One person who easy to lose temper, very hard to get the good relationship with other people. Also very hard to get good affinity with other people. But the Buddha Dharma tell us, before you want to attain Buddhahood, you have to get the good human relationship. You have to get good affinity. In Chinese, we say, 要成佛之前，要先结好人缘呐。 If you cannot get good affinity with the people, you hardly can attain Buddhahood. So if you want to attain Buddhahood, before you attain Buddhahood, one principle, you have to get a good affinity with the other people. So if you want to get good affinity with other people, then you have to control your temper. Don't easily lose temper. Not only easily lose temper, don't lose temper. Yeah. For Jin's aphorism said, right? When you lose temper, you are something like the mad person, right? That we don't want to let other people feel we are a mad person. Especially when you lose temper, your face is very ugly. Nobody dare to close to you, you know, because you are losing temper. Your face is so ugly. Nobody like to close to you. On contrary, you control your temper. You don't lose your temper. Especially you smile always. This we call you have good face to other people. This is also a kind of giving. 布施啊. The Buddha said, even you don't have money, but 7 things you can give to other people. But this is nothing to do with whether you have money or not. No. Okay. Always good talking to other people. Always give the good face to other people. This is also a kind of donation. It's called the 布施啦. So this kind of theory, you understand, then you will keep vigilant to yourself. Don't easily lose temper. And the other things, if you want to have a good EQ, you must keep one principle. You have to cultivate tolerance, 忍辱啊. Even some other people insult us, we still can keep tolerance. This will give you nice face. 所以要修向好的果啦. If you want to cultivate, you have a very good face. You want to have this kind of effect, then you have to cultivate the tolerance. 中文叫做要修向好的果啦. You want to cultivate a very nice, friendly, and solemn face. You must show 忍辱啦. You have to practice. You have practice how to tolerate for all the things. 所以要修向好的果，就是要修忍辱 tolerant. So this kind of story of theory, you understand, then you will warn yourself while you are going to lose temper. You will warn yourself, control yourself, right? You have to self-restraint. We call the self-restraint, 自我约束啦, right? Maybe hard to control, hard to restrain at the beginning. But slowly, step by step, right? Keep long term, you already get used to not lose temper. At that time, it is not easy for you to lose temper. So this is the process of our growth in Su Ching activities. Okay?
Okay, 感恩 Brother David, I really agree with you. 我
Yes,
真的很认同，因为我以前 because I used to be very easily get angry, so I use a patience 忍辱 patience.
对
Yeah. 总
So I-
之是 patience.
Yes,
Yeah.
patient, yeah. I can see your face. You cultivate the tolerance very well.
感
你的
恩
很双
Truly, yes. So I think we summarize. The summary is, it takes time. It's a gradual process. Take one teaching and keep with that practice. Okay. For example, you said just now, If you want to get angry, you just smile. Some people may just do that. You know, Master say, fake it until it is real.
，yeah，
装到变真了, huh? Fake it
对
until
对对
it's real. Right.
Not only
So,
not only when we face the bad thing, we easily lose temper. You know, not only this.
yes.
Not only this. Yeah. Even something good for you, good news for you, you still have to keep very good EQ. Don't easily to show your joy, show your happiness on your face. This we call 平常心啦。
Equanimity.
Equanimity. We call equanimity. Even you face the good thing or bad things, we keep very peaceful.
Equanimous.
Yeah, we keep.
就是 no, like Master say, no rise and sink, rise and sink. 没有起伏起。
对。This we call good EQ. This we call the good EQ.
Okay, good EQ.
You are easily lose temper, or always keeps easy to smile, easy to be depressive, something like this. Then your EQ is not good. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So what if after the anger, if the anger happened and not able to control, do we do repentance, 忏悔?
Yes, yeah. Maybe some people, when they lose temper, after lose temper, they don't repent, you know. They still don't know how to repent, you know. But after we join Su Ching, we try to practice the Buddha Dharma, we start to know how to repent ourselves, right? Then we cannot stop losing temper. But after we lose temper, we can repent. Why I lose temper just now, right? I have to warn myself. Next time, I have to control. I have to self-restraint.
Because I think that's quite important, because sometimes we cannot immediately say we can tame it. Sometimes it just happened. Yeah. So what I do is also I repent. Okay. Wonderful. Cảm ơn, Brother David.
Yeah. That's why we say learning Buddhism, no shortcut. Must keep step by step, day by day. Yeah. No shortcut. No shortcut.
Accumulate. Right?
Yeah.
累积. Okay.
Must accumulate.
Wonderful. Yeah. So no shortcut, no instant, but it's a constant. It's a constant. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we go to the next question? All right. The next question is this one. What is the difference between the inherent human nature and the intrinsic Buddha nature? Yeah.
Okay. The inherent human nature and intrinsic Buddha nature. Actually, the human nature and Buddha nature almost same, no difference, you know. But how to explain no difference? If have difference, there only one thing difference is the enlightenment. Buddha also an ordinary human, but he is ordinary human with enlightenment. That's what we call Buddha. Why we are ordinary human? Ordinary human, also a Buddha, but without enlightenment. 中文就是说，佛是觉悟的众生呐。Buddha is the ordinary human with enlightenment. But ordinary human is a Buddha without enlightenment. Okay, only difference in enlightenment. But go back to the original. The Buddha nature and the ordinary human nature almost same. All good, all purified. 所以人之初性本善嘛，对不对？人之初嘛。Why we were born? Why we were born? Our mind, our heart, all clear, no polluted. But why we have bad temper, we have bad character, we have bad tendency? Why? Because the environment affects us, right? If we have bad friend, then we get the bad tendency. We get along with the good friends, the mentor, then we have the good tendency, we have the good habit, right? 近朱者赤，近墨者黑的。You close to the red, you become red color. You close to black, you become black color, right? This after we were born. But at the beginning, when we were born, our human nature is still very, very, very pure, 很亲近的 very 亲近怎么讲
tranquil and
yeah, very
tranquil.
Yeah, very tranquil. Yeah. So at the beginning, all the human nature and the Buddha nature is the same. Only the Buddha nature keep tranquil all the time, all the life. But for us, always change. Maybe today is tranquil, tomorrow it's get polluted already. Maybe this morning 心宽念纯, this afternoon 心不宽念不纯. This morning we are in the heaven. This afternoon we are in the hell. But Buddha not like this. He always keep tranquil. This is something different in between. So no difference. Only difference in enlightenment. But how to get enlightenment? You have to cultivate yourself, right? Just now we said you are easy lose temper, but after we cultivate ourselves, we are not easy until we never lose temper. We know how to self-restraint. This become you are the person with enlightenment, coming better and better. But all the Su Ching volunteer like this. This is the process of our cultivation. Okay.
Okay. Brother David, I have a question regarding this. Because what is this for this question? Is it related to eighth consciousness and ninth consciousness? Human nature is within the eighth consciousness, and the Buddha nature is in the ninth consciousness. 就是在第八世和第九世，会不会是这样子的意思？
对，第八世啦，叫做阿赖耶识。阿赖耶识 ，no，是怎么讲啊？是英文怎么讲啊
？Consciousness，the eighth consciousness.
Yes. We have eight consciousness. The before six consciousness is always arise and 有生灭啦。
Arise and cease, arise and cease.
And at these, yeah. But the seventh and the eighth, these two, always with us in our past life, starting from our past life. 这个就是说，就像说父母啊 ，our parents can give birth our body, but cannot give birth our heart, because our heart is following our previous karma. So the number 8 consciousness 叫做我阿赖耶识，叫做潜意识啦，潜意识，什么意思？ This kind of consciousness
subconscious
from your past life already in your mind.
Yep.
Even in this life, you still have this kind of consciousness, which coming from your past life. 是这个意思啊。
对，所以这个本性呢 ，the inherent human nature, is it referring to the eighth consciousness?
Yes， 但是这个就是说the number 8 consciousness is coming from our past life together with your karma, 你的业力。
Correct.
的业力的。
所以就是 that's why brother you said just now sentient being is the Buddha without enlightenment. So what we want to is to cultivate to enter to the ninth consciousness, which is the enlightened.
Yeah, improve.
Which is the enlightened Buddha nature.
Yeah, our the consciousness coming from our past life is not so good. And 视线怎么讲？视线。
视线啊，视线。
Demonstrate.
Anybody can help manifest, is it?
And demonstrate in this life, right?
Demonstrate, okay.
This is not good karma. For example, in our daily life, we are facing so many obstacles. Do so many not so 不顺利啊，那怎么不顺利？怎么
not smooth, not smooth, not smooth.
This because of your karma. Just coming from your past life. But we don't want to surrender. We want to improve, right? We want to improve. That's why we come to Su Ching to cultivate ourselves. So this still can improve. Still can improve.
Right. So that we can become the awakened sentient beings, enlightened sentient beings. Huh?
Yeah. But if your human nature coming from past life is so good, but you can improve, become more better. Not only more better, more better. But if bad, we're going to make it better.
Better. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very clear already. Thank you so much, Brother David. Okay. How? So now we go to the next question. I hope this question is answered satisfactorily. Next one. Question number 3.
Why is it that single thought can pervade universe? Is it that simple? If yes, how to sustain that one good thought? 为什么一念能骗虚空这么容易吗？如果是，要如何恒持 how to sustain the good thought, right? Because the thought always changing. That's why we say 生住意灭啊，我不会讲英文的这个生住意灭。
The 4 states.
Our phenomenon for our mind and thought. There are 4 phenomenons. Right? Attach.
Arise, abide, changing, and cease.
Yeah, and cease. Yeah.
Arise, abide, changing, and cease.
Yeah,
it's the 4 states.
4 phenomenons, right? Or everybody's heart is same thing. The ordinary human's heart is the same thing. Always keep changing. Yeah, keep attaching, keep seizing.
Changing.
Yeah, keep changing always. These 4 phenomenons. So if you want to sustain one good thought, keep long term, it's not easy, but still can do it. This is why we come to Su Ching, right? Just now we say the temper. You want to control, not easy, right? Before you lose temper very often, but not often. And now once in a while, you lose temper, become longer time, right? Eventually, no more to lose temper. Same thing. How to sustain? This is the homework. We are doing Su Ching activities in Su Ching. So maybe, for example, maybe now I have one good thought in my mind, but maybe only keep half day only. In the afternoon, when we are facing some other 什么境界？怎么讲境界 ？Situation.
Yeah, situations.
Yeah, when we are facing different situation, our heart, our mind also become different phenomenon, right? Maybe happy, maybe sad, maybe right. Always keep changing like this, right? Yeah, always change. So now the problem is how we can sustain the good thought, keep long term. This is the homework. Yeah. Before we can sustain the good thought for one day only. Tomorrow change again. But now we improve ourselves. Maybe before we sustain one day, now sustain maybe 1 week, right?
Yes,
maybe,
yes, yes,
maybe,
yes.
Maybe if we improve ourselves, can sustain the good thought 1 month, then 2 months, maybe 1 year, right? Become longer time. That means you improve yourself a lot already, right? Until always keep always sustain good thought, always. Never have the bad thought in our mind. That's why we say, when you are facing the hardship, the afflictions, okay, you don't have to warm yourself to suppress, not suppress, right?
Suppress, yeah, suppress.
You don't need to suppress those kind of the bad thought. No need. Let it be. But how can we do? What can we do? You just try to strengthen your enlightenment.
Strengthen. Okay.
Yeah, you never we have the thinking to suppress the bad thought, no need, or hardship, because you strengthen yourself, right? You improve yourself. You become, if you are stronger, then the hardship will become weaker. If you are weaker, the difficulty and the hardship become stronger.
就是善恶在拔河还是什么？
善恶在拔河啊！但是呢 ，you don't need to suppress the bad affinity. You don't have to suppress the hardship. Let it be.
You increase the good.
Yeah, only increase the good one.
Increase the good.
Yeah, increase the good. You strengthen your good thought. If you are stronger, then he is weaker, right? You are weaker, then he is stronger. So we don't never waste time to think how to suppress the afflictions, the hardship. No need. So easy. You just improve yourself. You just strengthen yourself.
So this is has to do with diligence, is it, Brother David?
Increase what?
If we continue diligence, 就是很精进的. If we continue to immerse ourselves in the 慈济 activity, then we are sustaining the good thought.
Can say so. Because just now we say the 六度波罗蜜怎么讲？六度啊。
Six parameter.
Six parameter.
Six parameter.
Okay, six parameter. Six, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Then what is the third one?
Patience. Third one.
Patience, right?
Yeah.
Okay. After patience, what is after patience?
Diligence.
Yeah, this is reasonable, you know. Why they put the diligence after patience? Because it tells us when you face the bad thing, the hardship, the afflictions, right? Or insult, okay, or misunderstanding. When you meet those kind of bad conditions, normally the people will take rest. I want to take rest because I feel very upset in Su Ching. I want to take rest, right?
Yes.
The people want to take rest. But these 6 parameters tell us don't take rest.
Diligence.
Even you face the hardship or the afflictions, you still have to keep diligent. If you keep diligent, you keep running very fast. So those kind of bad conditions will leave you very fast.
And then you will go to the thing.
Yeah. If you are not diligent, you don't run very fast. You stay there together with the bad condition. Then you always mix together with the bad condition. 你侬我 right?
You know,
separate. You always mix it with the hardship, you know. So you have to keep. You face with some unhappy things. You still have to keep diligence. This is the reason why the sixth paramita, he put the diligence after patience.
对
Right?
对对对，很好。So
Yeah.
this question is a very, very good question. How to sustain it? Keep the diligence, keep the patience. Keep the patience, keep the diligence. Okay.
This
How?
you
I think
how-
we have
how
one
to-
more question actually. We still
Okay.
have time.
Okay.
We have one more question. Wait, we still have time today.
Okay.
这个 how do we inscribe the Dharma into our heart, engrave it into our bones, absorb it into our marrow, so that the Dharma can follow us life after life? 对，就是怎么把这个法刻进我们的心啦，走进我们的这个骨髓啦。对，然后我们就生生世世都会跟着这个法都会跟着我们在我们的心里。
好，你这一题哈，你这一题也要传到我的那个电脑里面来给我哈。
好，因为这个有 extra 的，对。
Okay. Actually, in one word, it's easy. Yeah. Put Buddha Dharma into your mind. Put Buddha Dharma into your daily life. Not only learning the Buddha Dharma, you know. Not only learning, we have to practice. That's why we call inner cultivation and outward practice, right? You just learning Buddha Dharma. It's easy to forget. You just listen and watch. This is easy to forget. But you take this Buddha Dharma into our daily life, into our working, into crowd. That means you put it in implementation. After you take action, you will remember strongly, never forget. Right? Just like you go to do the international relief works operation. This is in your experience, living experience, very strong memory in your mind. Hard to forget. But you just hear other people say, where they go, where they do the good things. This is an experience of other people, not yours. If you want to become, you have to take action by yourself, do by yourself, do in person, right?
Good.
So you want to engrave our bones and absorb into our marrow. That means you have to put Buddha Dharma into your body. You put Buddha Dharma into your body, become Dharma body. Fast, right?
Dharma kaya.
Yeah, become a Dharma body 法身啦，法体啦。
对，法身 Dharma kaya.
If you don't put the Buddha Dharma into your body, we only can say 这个是肉身，这个肉身 physical body. This become physical body. It's not the Dharma body, right? So this is very important, you know. Yeah. If
Dharma
you have,
body is unchanging. Dharma body is unchanging.
Yeah, Dharma body, Paradharma give you Dharma power. Physical body only give you physical power only. Physical power is very limited. Dharma power is invisible, but it's very big power. That's why don't use your physical body to do the things. You have to use your Dharma body to do activities. This you don't feel tired because you have Dharma joy always. This give you power. If you only use your strength, use your body to do the activities. Eventually, you will feel tired. When you face the courtship, you face the difficulty or afflictions, you feel tired, not body tired. Your heart is tired.
The heart is tired.
Your heart is tired. Even your body not tired. You want to take rest because no power at all, right? So Buddha Dharma give you Dharma power in your mind already, in your bone already, in your heart already. But you only learn Buddha Dharma. You can speak so many sutra. You can talk so many deep sutra. No use because you don't improve. You don't verify in your activities, in your relationship as well, right? So the Buddha Dharma always together with your heart, with your body. Means full Buddha Dharma in your body, right? It's very nature. It's very nature. Because it is invisible, already joined together with our body. Even you want to change mind, you want to sustain the good thought, 不用刻意, it's very nature, right? You want to change, you want to 转进怎么讲？转进 you want to transform. You want to transform the situation also, right? Why you face the 怎么那个怎么境界怎么讲？situations. When you meet the bad situation, right? When somebody face the bad situation, always mix together with the bad situation, right? Very hard to transform him, you know. So become too much afflictions. But some other people, it's not like this. Same bad condition, this guy he meet, but easily he can transform immediately. Nothing happened to him, right? Yeah. Nothing can affect him because this guy already has the Buddha Dharma in his mind, in his body. So this like the cell phone. When you go abroad, you enter the different country, automatically the change. 那怎么 change 的什么
switch
yeah switch 的怎么那个什么 roaming
the roaming yeah
roaming yeah right. You don't need to touch anything. You just take care of your cell phone. When you enter this country, immediately the cell phone, they change the different roaming already for you, right? This is very nature. Same thing. Right?
But still no shortcut.
How what?
No shortcut.
No shortcut.
No shortcut, right? The essence is the essence for this the answer.
Improvement is gradually.
Gradual improvement.
Yeah, gradual, yeah.
But
no one person one night can attain Buddhahood. Yeah. No one person one day or 1 month or one sleep next day morning become the Buddha. No. 没有捷径，没有速成班。速成班怎么讲？
不会。
速成班 no shortcut.
What is Sister Hui Ying? If you're on the Sister YY, maybe you can help.
Crash course.
Is it crash
no
or
express
class?
class.
Express class.
No express class.
Express class.
Crash course.
Oh, express
good,
class.
Good,
okay,
yeah.
Sister Kaping is around. Okay, express class. No express class.
You have to keep diligent, keep hard working every day. You know, become a habit for your life.
Become your second nature.
Yeah, because you want to keep diligent. It's not easy. You have to force yourself.
Yes.
But you want to be lazy. It's very easy. As long as one day you don't want to learn Buddha, you don't want to do the homework. Then after the third day you become lazy. You know.
对。
Yeah.
So basically, it's you have to do it to feel it, to realize it.
That this why the 共修啊，共修怎么讲？共修怎么讲？
Group cultivation.
Okay. Yeah, right. Okay, that's why the group cultivation is so important for us. Not only self-cultivation, self-cultivation very important, but group cultivation also important. Must go parallel, go together. In the group cultivation, because we get the we get the reference from other people. Like today, now, because we have session. If you join this group, you are forced to participate because I'm one member of this group. So I have get up earlier to participate this the morning session. If you are not, if you don't join this group, okay, not this morning, not do, then you can sleep longer time. Maybe you wake up 10, 11 o'clock. Still waste time. Waste time is very easy, but you want to change. Not easy. You have to force yourself to be diligent until it become your habit. You want to be lazy, not easy, right? You want to be lazy, also not easy, because diligence become your habit, right? That's why how important of this group cultivation. Everybody can encourage each other. If you are alone, it's very easy to be lazy because nobody can warn you, nobody can 对不对？一样的意思。对。This we call the skillful. We call the skillful means.
Okay. Okay. Group cultivation for us very important because also we can see a good role models. 我们有好榜样来学习。
Why the Buddha path tell us cannot only alone self-cultivation at home. You must go into crowd, participate the group cultivation, because if you leave the crowd, then no way for cultivation. 离开人群就没有法好修了。If you leave the crowd, no way to attain Buddhahood. That's why 无人不是法. There's nobody is not Dharma. No place cannot cultivate. Everywhere you can cultivate yourself. Not only in the temple, in the 什么那个什么 Buddha hall, 对吧？不是只有在佛堂里面。
Not only in the temple.
Everywhere is our place for cultivation. This for the Buddha path to say, not only stay at home chanting Sutra, 念佛. Not only this, all the Buddha before they attain Buddha, they have to go through the Buddha path. They have to 开示啊. They have to teach the
teach the Dharma.
Teach the 法华经.
The Lotus Sutra.
Yeah, the Lotus Sutra. They have to 开示. They have to teach the expound. Lotus Sutra. Yeah, they have to
expound the sutra.
Yeah. So this is the truth. 这个道理呀，这个道理要懂啊。
The true principles. This is the true principles.
Yeah.
But we have to know.
I joined this English section. For me, why I have interest, I am enthusiastic to participate in this session, because this is also a very good learning opportunity for me. I can practice so many new English vocabulary. from you all, right? That's why I said the express class. Today I learned this word already.
Yes.
No shortcut.
We learn together. Yeah.
Right? This
对，好。
is a learning opportunity for us. Have to cherish. So we feel happy to join. Yeah.
Yep. So I think today the summary, I would put it as of all the questions, it seems like are there any questions? Sorry, Brother Andy?
This Robert,
Brother
right?
Andy? Oh, sorry. Okay. Now, yeah, that's all the questions we have. Perhaps just a little summary that today the questions are all related to from ordinary being, we want to become an enlightened being. So everything must be practiced. It's a gradual process. We have to take constant steps mindfully every day. Do not retreat. We have to apply, seek the Dharma and apply it in the masses, and be diligent always. Okay? All right.
Yeah. Okay. Good summary.
很感恩
Okay.
Brother David. Shall we take a good group picture before we let Brother David go?
I don't have next.
Okay. Shall we take a group picture?
I don't have next.
我们拍合照。
Okay.
好。嗨，来 Sister YY 会帮我们拍吗？ Yeah, Sister Stephanie. Okay. 好，来，我们一起跟we all take a group picture with Brother David.
Okay.
感恩哦。
Okay. See you next time.
感恩师伯，拜拜。
All the best for
感
everybody.
恩
See
See
you.
you,
Bye.
Brother David.
Bye. Bye.
Take care.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Okay. And now, brothers and sisters, we would like to invite Brother Joe Huang. Is Brother Joe online? Oh, yeah. Okay. We'd like to, with great honor, we'd like to invite Brother Joe Huang to share with us for today. Cảm ơn.
Yes. Hi. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Brother
Thank
Joe.
you. I was still enjoying, always enjoying Brother David's sharing and also the QA, the wonderful part about learning together and also the group cultivation. I think that was one of the very highlight when Brother David said that he also learned from everybody. I think that's indeed very true. Indeed very true. I think I was just thinking, following from that. So why is it? And I was following the chat too, that I think it was Brother John B said that that you cannot cultivate from the crowd. You need to cultivate within the crowd. And I was just thinking, why is that? Why is that the case? Why is that we need to be within the crowd? And I'm sure there are more reasons. There are more reasons, but there are some that I thought of, and I welcome anyone to add on to what you think. I think that obviously we need to do homework on our own, but as Brother David said, that within the group there are pulls and push. There are people that's going to that's going to inspire you, that's going to give you a pull, and some of the people are going to give you a push. And I think that that's all very important. Another reason that is important, I think, is because another thing that's important is because we need to have a measuring stick. It's almost like you don't know how good you are or how bad you are until you actually have somebody to compare to. And you don't know how good or how bad you are until you have someone who can look at you objectively, not just you looking at yourself, but another person. And I think that when there is the environmental influence and there's the surroundings that's going to influence who we are, I think it's also very important to have that and to cultivate and grow from that. So I think it's important. You know, people said that that when a couple is dating, I think things are going well, but the one major test is getting married, and that is, you know, without being put to the test, you don't really know how strong your bond is. You don't really know how strong that the relationship is until it's really put to the stress and put to the test. And I think that going into the people while you're learning many things, there are also very many things that I think is important and will help us learn and will help us. One of the things that I thought about, there was another question that was asked about how to sustain, you know, how to keep that one thought or how to keep the good thoughts. And I think that being diligent is very important. Obviously, being diligent is very important. And I also think that one of the things that we do, obviously, is you keep on doing it, repeatedly doing something will make you good at it, will make you better at it, will improve you. One of the things that I think Master to look was the one thing that it was the. Hang on, I think my internet isn't stable. Hang on. Okay, I'm hoping that my internet is now more stable. I've gotten to a different. Okay, so what I was trying to say is that one of the things that we could do is that to have repeated doing something and look beyond the things you're doing. You know, I remember there was this, I think it was Bruce Lee. It was someone who taught the art of the punch, and it was to see that. Imagine if the wall, this is what you're going to punch, and what they said was you had to imagine that your goal is actually another 10 centimeters deep. That's where you're punching, and so your strength will be actually hitting the things that's beyond, not what you see here. And very similarly, if you're just focusing on what you're doing, like I'm driving here, I'm driving there, or I'm taking my kids to the school, then that's what you're thinking. However, most people would inspire themselves or will give themselves more strength when they're thinking about why they're doing something. When I am taking my kids to the piano lesson and how they're complaining like they don't want to learn anymore, and you're imagining is, maybe 2 years down the line, or maybe 3 years and 4 years. Maybe they might not be the best pianist, right? But they will learn something about music in their life, and that will somehow enrich their lives. And that's what you're looking for, right? All the very little things, all the daily and the weekly practices, and all the money that you're paying for the piano teacher. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking at every single one step. You're looking beyond that one step. And this is the same thing with Master, is that we're not just doing this to cultivate ourselves, but we're doing this to help the people that are in need. And you see their suffering, and that makes you want to help them. It's not just about helping them, but it's more about that you're doing something. So that's why crowd is important, because I think diligence is something that is only for people with strong will. Okay, well, let's face it, we all know, right? A lot of us, we're going to crumble under pressure when something comes, when something, the scheduling or work or family or many other things comes. What are you going to do when you have to make a decision about being diligent or taking care of these very urgent things? usually the things that goes out the window is your diligence. And why is that? Because it's easier to let it go. And you don't see it, you don't see that, immediately there's any loss. If you don't do something, like for example, taking your kids or going to a certain function that your family needs to do, that's what you're going to do. Because if you don't do it, you're going to be in trouble, right? However, diligence is the opposite. If you don't do anything, immediately you're not going to see any problem. In fact, in the long term, in the short term, even midterm, you're not going to see any real problem. It's only when the long term, when it will slowly manifest the problem of losing that diligence. And therefore, what Master does for us is that I'm going to create something for you, so that even if you're not the very tough-willed people, I mean, Master is a very strong-willed person. And you see many other people, like Brother David Liu, many successful people, they have very strong will. They know what they want to do, and they will go at it. They will keep at it, even though if it's very difficult, and even though there are many challenges, they have to overcome themselves to get there. Okay, that's from strong-willed people. But what about so many others like me? So many other peoples that are not that strong-willed. What are you going to do? You're going to cave in? You're going to buckle under pressure? You're going to just give up? No. What Master did is going to create something for us to work for. And that something isn't yourself. That something is another thing, external factor for you to know and for you to work for. That's what charity, underneath of it, one of the very important aspect of it is that you are inspired to do these things for others. Imagine if this is only for yourself, right? Oh, I could do without it. It's okay. I don't need this, right? I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. But if it's for someone else, if it's for something other than yourselves, it's something sometimes people are very, it goes both ways. Sometimes people think that I don't want it. I don't need this for myself, but if it's you that need it, I would do it for you, right? Sometimes people are like that. Sometimes for some other things, people are like, no, if it's for you, I don't care. But if it's for myself, I will do it. That's why you need both. For the strong-willed people, they know what they want and they'll go get what they want. They will continue to strive forward. But for the weak-willed people, you need to give them a reason. And that reason is the people. That reason is the other people, the sadness, the sorrow, the need that you see in other people. That gives them strength. That is why in Tzu Chi, there are so many different functions for you to join. There are functions that you can act as someone who is more active. And there are functions that you can participate for someone that is more passive. So you could do either way. And that's what the convenience of this is, right? This is what the teaching is all about, is so that the teacher or the Buddha could stretch or shrink. You could reach out or you can take in. Whichever way it does, it actually apply to certain people that need it. Okay, so how do you make it sustain? Very, very simple. You have to figure out what works for you. You have to know, how do you sustain, for example, exercising? If that's not what you do, if you already couldn't sustain exercising or sustaining something that you know that you really didn't quite want to, but you're doing it anyway, how do you do that on your own? That's how you know yourself. So many times in Buddhism, it's talking about know yourself. Know how to defeat your laziness is one of the key points to being diligent. Because you know how to defeat your own laziness. That's how you become diligent. If you don't know how to defeat your own laziness, or if you don't even know why you're lazy or what you're lazy about, then it's very difficult, right? You couldn't keep it very long because you got to know yourself. And once you know yourself and defeat it, then it will be just as easy When you know others, then how do you help them defeat the laziness? It would be the same thing. So for Buddhism, there has always been only one path and one path only. There isn't three, there's only one path. And that one path is to know the problem and to find the solution, to fix it. Now, the very first part of this problem is to know yourself, because you know yourself better than you know anybody else. You know yourself, you know your problem, and then you find the ways to fix it. That's the first part. The second part is know the problems of other people, see what they're going through and know what their problems are. And the third thing is, well, how do you help them fix it? Know the way to fix it, know the solutions to fix them, and then tell it to them, teach them so that they know how to fix it themselves too. And then the final step is, well, then let them know that they can do it on their own, and then they can teach to more people. So it has always been the three-step part on the same path. But we, the students, we, the followers, always thought that once I got to a certain point, I'm done with my studies. For example, someone who finished elementary school, they would think that they're done with schools. Somebody who finished middle school, they would think that they're done with studying, with school. And then there will be other people with more, and gradually, there's more academic achievements. The whole point is you don't stop, right? You don't stop learning. These are just ways for you to learn the ways of learning, to learn the ways of seeing the problem, analyzing the problem, finding the solution, and implementing the solution, and then figuring out if this solution is right for you. So for the entire Buddhism, I really think that it's really broken down into know the problem, and the first part is you know the problem by observing the problem, by knowing the problem, right? We're not gonna solve the problem of Mars because we don't know what the problem of Mars is, but we live on Earth. We know our problem here on Earth is because it's right here, it's right now, it's where we are. It's hard for us to look beyond where we are to try to fix the problem there because we don't really know what problem Mars has. We don't know what problem that the moon has, but we know the problem of Earth because we live on Earth. So once we figure out the problem, once we know the problem here in our country, in our city, in our home, in myself, because these are the things that we can observe the easiest. It's the closest proximity. It's right here, right now, right on you, so that you can figure it out on your own. If it's far away on a different continent, on a different planet, even in a different universe, how would you be able to solve their problem if you don't even know they existed, right? So the very first thing is to know your problem, know the solutions, fixing it, implementing it, and then figuring out if it really fixes your problem. The more you do this, the more you become adept at finding the solutions and fixing the problems. Then you can slowly finding problems for other people and then helping them solve their problems, and then teach them so that they could learn this on their own, and then they can teach this to other people. And that's what the three vehicles are. And the three vehicles are actually part of the same path. It's just that people broken down into different paths, but it's actually the same path. Okay, so that's the starting, and we're gonna get into today's topic. I think that is always very similar because I think that the Buddha just continues to talk about the same thing, using different ways, right? Using different ways to talk about the same thing. And for the past 2,500 years, that has been the sutra and the teaching that has been coming into our lives has just been so. It's the same teaching, but we are now reiterating it through different things that we see through our daily lives. And Master always teaches and reminds us that the sutra wasn't exactly the spoken words of the Buddha. And the main reason being that upon the death or the passing of the Buddha, at that time, the Sangha didn't actually have the assembly to right away record or right away jot down all the things. There was no paper, there was no pen, there was no writing at the time. There was only verbal, right? And so right away, with the passing of the Buddha, it wasn't exactly right away when people were still, mourning that they remember and jot down all the things that the Buddha said. It was years and years and years later when they finally had that assembly, and then they got Ananda back to do the "Thus I have heard." That's when it all start. That's when everything continues from that on. So you could imagine that it wasn't exactly the words of the Buddha that says, "I am now going to talk about Lotus Sutra." No, it wasn't going to be like that. So it was the collective memory and collective assembly where put together all these sutras that we're reading now. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't trust it. No, we should trust it because the teaching was there. And what the master did was to distill that teaching out of all this and then make it into a practice so that we could see it better. We could see and we can touch it. We can feel it and we can be in it. It's not just words. It's not just chanting, but you're now doing the things that you're chanting. You're now doing, and there's a bigger meaning to it because you begin to see that there are other people that depend on you. There are other people that depend on you, right? So as I said before, that when you're doing something for yourself, you're not working as hard. For example, I know my parents, and when my parents, my mom and dad, they are very, very, I don't want to say stingy, but they're very thrifty, right? They know where to save money. And throughout most of their lives, that's what they do. They will make sure that wherever they can, they will save that money. They don't need to spend extravagantly. And that's what they do, right? And most of the people of that generation, they have been through tough time. So they are very, very, they're very good at managing the finances of the house. And they do that by being very thrifty. And so, but when it comes to the kids, when it comes to me and my brother, my parents, especially my dad, almost will never say no. If it's something that you need, a computer, right? You need to take a lesson in tennis, violin, or drawing, or arts and crafts, go spend the money, and all the money that was very hard, that was saved, will be spent on us without question. So that's what I was talking about, that sometimes to do it for yourself there isn't so much of a drive to do that. But if you think about you're doing this for other people, this is for other people to benefit, all of a sudden you have a much bigger drive to do that. And so know yourself is very important. Some people are like that. Some people have very good self-drive, like I want that, so I'm going to go at it. Some people are very good at that. So you need to know yourself so that you can position yourself so that you put that diligence ahead of you as a goal, and then make yourself work towards it. And I think that's very important. Buddha does that for us, and we have to do this for ourselves. Once we know this for ourselves, we can begin to observe others and do this for them. And I think Lotus Sutra is just that. Lotus Sutra, I believe, is exactly what the Buddha, the medicine that the Buddha prescribed for us. Why? Because these are the means, the ways, these are the tools that allows us to do that. All the assessment is done beforehand. Like you go into the group, you know what the problems are, and you are going to tell them the solution. However, what if the group of people will not take your solution? What if the group of people will not even listen to your suggestion? What do you do? The answer, a lot of it, is in the Lotus Sutra. So I really believe that the Lotus Sutra was made at the moment that the Buddha was spoken, these words, was that it was meant as a way to share that all the students at the time, they were able to identify their own problems and they were able to solve their own problems already. What the Buddha wanted them to do is to not only solving your problem, now go out to the group and solve their problems, right? And when they go out to the group, they realize that they can't solve their problems. They can't solve other people's problems. Why? It's not that because, you know, the wise sages do not understand the problem of the people. They understand. The problem isn't not understanding. The problem is, I want to tell you how you can do this, but you won't listen. Or you listen, but you don't know what to do. Or you want to do it, but it doesn't work, right? So as I mentioned last week, that this is very similar to a math professor who is very, very good at math, but doesn't know how to teach. You are such a great professor, but you are even greater if you can teach a student, inspire a student to be greater than you. Then you will be a good teacher. Teach the student to such a point where the student is better than the teacher. That, I believe, should be the goal of the teacher, okay? But the teacher found out that it's very difficult, because while I know all the knowledge and I try to give it all to you, but the student just won't get it, then what do? The answer is the Lotus Sutra. And the Lotus Sutra talks about the ways, talks about the convenient means, these ways and means to allow you to teach them the teachings. And that's very important. So I think that's what the Lotus Sutra gives us, so many tools, and teaching you that being a Dharma teacher is so important, because that is the lesson that they need to learn now. At this time, after 42 years of teaching to the students, what the students need at that time was that you need these tools to go into the group and to go into the society, not just closing up and cultivating on your own. Okay, so that's what is needed now. And Lotus Sutra, the second chapter, transform or changes the concept of all the students. The Buddha no longer just think that it's good enough that you are a good mathematician. It's not enough that you are a good mathematician. You now have to be a good mathematics teacher. That's what is important. Not only are you a good mathematician, but you have to make other people as good as you. That is the transformation in chapter 2. And that's where the Buddha began to say, why is the wisdom of the Buddha deep and profound? Why? Because not only did the Buddha understand mathematics, but the Buddha was able to teach this mathematics to everybody else and let them learn. That's where you guys, the solitary realizers and the hearers, can't do. Okay, I can stand here and tell you all about the students that I have encountered, all of their problems, and I could tell you all the ways that I get to them, that I make sure that they learn. You would just be listening and you would have no idea, because you would just be listening to stories that's not yours. And because you are not in it, you don't know the students, you don't know the interaction. So it's so profound that you can never understand until you truly take on this burden and say, I am going to teach everybody else what I learned. Okay, so chapter 2 is a change of direction, making sure that it's time for change. It's time for change to let the mathematician know that you are no longer just trying to solve the equation. You are now going to have to help people learn, and you're going to help others learn to be a mathematician. The world needs more of you, not just you and you only. Okay, so it's time for change, time for a change of roles. And so it's a very important change of attitude, right? Before, it used to be that I just do what I do best. I'm a mathematician, so I'm going to do mathematics and I'm going to solve the equation. I'm going to have all these models, etc. Right? The mathematics model, etc. Right? Now it's a change of attitude. Now you are no longer just pursuing of that pinnacle and the excellence. Now you're pursuing that other people around you also raise their ability, raise their awareness, raise their role as a mathematician, not just a student of mathematician. And that's a change of attitude that everybody must have. So furthermore, giving you the teachings, right? Why is the Buddha giving us the same teachings again? Well, these are the things that are very essential. The 37 principles of enlightenment make sure that these are the fundamentals of self-improvement. Many of these things are talks about yourself. How do you help yourself? How do you do this on your own to get better, to be stronger, to be a better mathematician? That's still very important, because if you're not there, then you might not be able to have the good material. Imagine that you are a very good communicator. Imagine that you are a very good teacher, that you understand what people need and that you can solve their problems and you can teach them. However, you yourself are not a very good mathematician. That means while you are very good at teaching, you don't know the stuff very well. So while you're good, while you can teach, you can't teach something that is too difficult because you don't even understand it yourself. So being able to understand things on your own is very important too. And that comes from the self-improvement from the 37 principles of enlightenment. Once again, right? This is the same idea. We go into the people, we go into the masses and we help them. And then when they comes to us for opinion on their lives, are you prepared to give them opinions? Are you prepared to give them the life lessons? Are you prepared, other than the things that you help them with? Oh, here's a blanket. This is the the donation that comes from all the people from all over the world. Wonderful. Now you have walked into their lives, and then you change them. You said that being vegetarian is very important, and then they ask you why. Are you prepared to answer these questions? Right? I'm sure all of you are, right? Because you've been doing this, you've been doing this every week. You know this spreading, promoting vegetarian. And I think that's very important. That comes from your self-improvement. And that's what 37 Principle Enlightenment is talking about. You can't just teach others when you don't know the stuff yourself, okay? So that's the first part. You need to know the stuff. Next part, the 10 strength and the 4 fearlessness talks about going into the masses. The strength allows you to go into the masses and know what they need, listen to what they need, and finding out a solution to solve their problem and be with them. So then when they have the conclusion, when they're happy, the problem is solved, you're there. When they're upset because the problem isn't solved by the solution, then you can change, adapt, and then re-implement again. That is the step that you need to be with them. And the 10 strength and 4 fearlessness allow us to do that. It allows us to be able to function, to not only on your own level, but also reach out to all the other peoples, right? So the 10th strength talks about the ability to teach Dharma, the ability to know the place and time to teach, because there is always a place and time to teach. Know the skillful means. What are the skillful means? So-and-so watches the movies. So then when you watches a lot of movies, so you know how to teach them a particular idea by using the parables and stories from the movies because they get it. That's the skillful means, right? So the 10 strengths talks about how to teach, how to spread. 37 principles talks about how you can enrich yourself so you can have the material to teach. That's very different. So once again, I really believe that the one path that the Buddha talked about is actually pieces that you put together. Or another way to say it is that we, the ordinary beings, we break it into pieces because we don't understand. We break it into pieces when it's actually one continuous road. The first piece is know the stuff yourself, apply the stuff to yourself, adjust yourself and adjust the stuff to teach to yourself. So all these things are about yourself, right? You know that something works for you. You know something that doesn't work for you. You know how strong will you are, and you know how weak will you are. And there are tools that you can use to help yourself. That's what self-improvement classes are all about, right? Know yourself, and then positive thinking telling you that this thing works, and then have the strength to go on, right? That's what a lot of these classes are about. Absolutely right. You need to be able to solve your own problems. You need to be able to assess your own problems. You need to be able to know your problems before you can actually implement anything to correct it. And even after you implement it, there's a case of how it works. Does it work well? Does it not work well? If it doesn't work well, how do you adjust it? How do you change yourself, right? So Ten Train talks about the ways to teach Dharma. The first one is know the place and time, know the skillful means, and then you have to know the capacities of the people. Capacity of the people. You have to know them, right? They're good at this. They're not good at something. You need to know them. And then know the past karma. You know that in the past, Brother Joe has always been very bad with math. You know their past. You know that in the past, in the grade school or in first grade, second grade, third grade, Joe has been struggling with math. Therefore, you know their past, then you know what their strength is, and you know what their weaknesses. All these are telling you, prepare yourself, these things, so that you can teach better in the people, right? So this is the same playbook. And then finally, lastly, is know the teachings. If you don't know, if you're a math teacher and you don't know math, how in the world are you going to be able to teach? If you know the place and time, if you know the skillful means and you know the capacity and know the past karma, but you don't know the teaching, then how are you going to teach? So all these things are coming together, right? You need to know the stuff you're on yourself, and you need to know the place and time, know all these things, and then you need to be able to teach them, okay? And essentially, know the students, know the world, know their needs, and know their issues. That's what the strength is really talking about. It boils down to these very essential keys. And these keys actually apply to everything else, right? If you want to sell something to the world, you need to know who the people you're selling to, what their needs are, what their issues are, what the problems are, what is your item, what is your product that is supposed to solve. Align the problem that you're trying to solve with the people's problem, and then you have a good product, because this product is going to solve people's problem. So that's what the strength is all about, right? And the four fearlessness is the same idea, right? Know the teaching. You got to know the teaching. If you don't know the teaching, you're going to be afraid. When you step onto the podium, when you're beginning to lecture something that you don't know, you are going to be afraid, right? Just like Brother David. If Brother David didn't come prepared, if he did not have all the stuff in his mind, then right away you have the QA, right? The rapid fire QAs. How is he going to be able to answer all these questions? Then he's going to be fearful. He's going to be fearful. So the reason why you're fearless is because you know the teaching. Is because no matter the questions you ask, that there is going to be an answer, because you're not afraid of being asked, right? And then you also know that you yourself have used the same medicine that you're going to sell to others. You yourself have done this, and you know that whatever the interaction, whether sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's not so happy, whatever the interaction, you know that you have no affliction, because you have done the homework, you have done the work, 37 principles, you've done it. You have removed affliction such in a way that whatever happens, whether people yell at you, shout at you, scold at you, that you know that it is their affliction talking. So you can analyze the problem, you can look beyond all the emotions, you can look directly to the problem, right? And break through hindrance and resolve with truth of suffering. All these are basically allow you to be fearless, right? Allow you to be fearless. And what we talked about is that change is very important, right? Change of the attitude is very important. And chapter 2 changes the attitude completely. Why? Because in chapter 1, we talked about how the light comes out of the eyebrows, how the Buddha breaks habit, right? No longer is at the end of the sutra that everybody just goes home. No longer this happens. This time, the Buddha breaks from the usual tendencies. The Buddha says, I'm going to change the way that people think. I'm going to change your attitude by starting with what we're doing here. Okay, so Buddha did many things to counter what people think Buddha should do, right? For example, then Buddha says, stop, no more talking. I'm not going to teach you anymore because you guys aren't listening. This hasn't happened before. Buddha hasn't said this is so important that I'm going to stop you from learning. How is it a teacher will tell a student to, no, stop learning. Forget it, stop, right? Unless it's some way to try to get us to change. So the Buddha himself changed the way that he was teaching as well in this particular chapter to show us that in order for a teacher to get the attention of the students, you need to do certain changes that is very essential, right? So in this instance, Buddha is the teacher, we are the student. But in the future, when we are the one going into the masses, we are the teacher and they are the students. So whatever Buddha is teaching us, we have to learn as a way to get into the masses, to share with them why something is so important. For example, we're promoting vegetarianism. How do we do this so that we can raise their awareness, right? So that's where the parable of the burning house is very important. They don't realize how important or how dangerous not being a vegetarian is. So they don't want to come out of the burning house. Well, what do you do, right? What do you do to get them to come out? Well, make sure that it's very tasty, make sure that it's very simple, and make sure that it's very good, right? It's very good, it's very simple, and you can do it, and it's very healthy. All these are external forces getting them out here so that they could have a chance to see the greater thing, which is, oh, so the reason is because it's wrong, because you should not take other lives, because it's compassion. All these are the reasons. So once again, going back to what this chapter is really about, it's about how to assess and then giving the ways to, once you assess the individuals or yourself, then give you the tools to allow them to learn and teach Dharma. That's what this has been always about. And I think once you break it down into that, then you will be able to see the teaching, the three vehicles, as actually one continuous journey that unfortunately we, the ordinary beings, the students, just unknowingly breaking into three parts because we take the part that we like most and then we say that's the only part. Okay, so that's the sharing for today. Going back a little bit about chapter 2 and about the change of attitude and the change of direction and following what Brother David said in a lot of QAs, I think this is very good. Every time I just come online, just quietly listen to the interaction, this is very good. And I'm really hoping that by answering some of these questions by Brother David, that we really get to hear something and inspire ourselves to do something that we didn't think about before. And that's what Lotus Sutra was supposed to be for the students of that time. That Buddha keep on saying new things that we were like, oh, let me try that. That was good. Let me try that. And then they try it, and then they'll come back and say, well, it worked or it doesn't work. And then Buddha give them more opportunities and more things to try. Okay, thanks everybody. And I think we are now going into we're now see everybody next week. Okay, thank you.
We will wrap up today. Thank you so much, Brother Joe, for such insightful sharing. I think before we leave, let us just pay our respects to the Buddha, and let us just rise. Come, everyone, palms together. Take 3 bows, yeah. First bow. Second bow. And third bow. Thank you everyone for such a great morning. Have a great weekend and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, Kantan everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.